Welcome back to Rotten Fields. We've got Trick on the Executioner, starting off the first set of this match between 0Practice and Aeternum. We're going to see, will the survivors be able to stealth out in this cornfield, or will we get a very fast first chase, as Trick will be on the Detective Tap's scratch marks around Shack. So Tap will be able to make it to a good place to chase before the chase starts.
Yeah, and this first chase is going to decide a lot here with the Executioner on Rotten Fields. As we saw before, this can be a very close and exciting set where the Executioner can pop off or the survivors can just make a fool out of him as the first shockwave misses onto Spitz.
And we have a long wall jungle gym down here, so the pallet will go down, and Tap is still at this tile. This is not a bad place to be. He is going to not get hit by the shockwave, but he will take an M1 instead and speed off to a different tile. But Tap does take his chase towards the corrupted side of the gen, so his teammates will be able to get a bunch of progress while this is happening if he's able to delay this down. But, this filler here is not that good, so he's just going to go straight back to that long wall window.
Yep, and he's going to try to stay at this long wall jungle gym. Maybe hold W if there's a cow tree over there, but it doesn't look like there is. He is going to take that vault, and he does get hit by the shockwave. Nice one from Triptych there. Predicting the angle through the long wall window, and that's going to be the first down. Same build as we saw in the last Executioner set with Agitation, Pain Res, and Noed. Actually, no, Noed instead of No Way Out. Very different here.
Yeah, and we will be seeing a cow tree on this map. It's just going to be topside. There's always one, and it can be in one of those three locations. So the survivors know they have that to work with topside if the chases go there. As we see Felix trying to pre-leave from that gen, doesn't want to give the Exy any more pressure while there's still a teammate on hook. And we haven't seen a gen pop in the distance yet, so as the unhook comes back, Trick is going to go straight back and see if he can secure a tunnel onto that tap. But Chase is going on to Ace instead, so Dunder going to have to play this TL wall, and I don't know if he's got a whole lot to work with. He should know if he runs back to that tile, there's no power to the long wall. He's going to take an M1, and he does have a tile here that he can make with its speed boost. This should be another long wall, actually. So, these survivors getting pretty decent RNG on Rotten Fields. These pallets can be extremely rough, and they have hit kind of the jackpot when it comes to that.
Yeah, and that's going to be another silly fast pre-drop there against the Executioner. Nice shot from Triptych. He knew that he wasn't soon enough to get him animation locked and had to flick to the left or right to get that shot, and he hit the flick. Really nice shockwave there. And so Dunder here is going to get carried towards presumably another Pain Res on the hill. That's going to be a really strong hook for Triptych.
We are seeing agitation value here. Not only is that a pain res, not only is it on a hill, but because all of our chases have been occurring around this side of the map, this is the part of the map where the resources have been depleted. And this generator right here is crucial now because it's close to that hill-ish alongside these other two gens. So if Trick is able to stop this particular gen from popping, he has a really good position to be in because the survivors don't really want to run up that hill for the save. But the hook is in the middle of these gens, so they don't have much choice, as now Trick can just hover between that gen and these other gens over here. It is a cluster of 4, so even if that gen goes, he is in a pretty good spot. And they still have to decide, who are we sending to get this pull? Do they have balanced landing on a different survivor, maybe?
No, balanced landing is on Ace here, who's on the hill.
That is really unfortunate. Yeah, so now whoever goes up here... Now, I don't think Pyramid Head can send a shockwave up the hill, so that will be enough to prevent the double hit on the unhook. And now Dave is going to see if he can make distance away from this side of the map. Both survivors just have to sprint away, and David is able to make Shack. I do believe he still has Shack pallet, and he can just go down into those basement stairs, knowing the shockwave cannot hit him there. So Trick has to just vault and try to go for a prediction hit here.
David is actually going to flare away from the Shack, and he's running towards the part of the map that has a total dead zone. Really nice dodge there onto the shockwave. That was aggressive from Triptych. So David just reads that and gets the dodge. So yeah, he somehow made distance to the Harvester while out of line of sight. Really nice play from Rocket there, and that's going to hurt the killer pretty hugely here.
Yeah, that had to be an exhaustion perk of some kind to get the kind of distance, and now the survivors should be powering out that 3 o'clock gen roughly in the distance, and if so, this is a fantastic spot for Rocket to die. He's far away from everything, and he is, however, tormented, so we could see a cage come in on him so that Trick can just book it back to that side of the map, but it looks like he's going to go for the Pain Res instead. Probably a better choice. If this is Pain Res, we're going to get some interruption on that gen, and it is a Pain Res, so now we can see if there's going to be an interrupt as they're doubling this gen here. And there's only one hook. There's 3 separate survivors that have been hooked once, so we're not going to be able to see a tunnel out this game, and we're going to have to see if Trick can get some no-ad value into the late game to try and recover from this, as there's not a good gen spread to hold.
Yeah, really good shockwave there onto Spitz at the cow tree, and he's going to get zoned into the corner here. So this is going to be a second hook onto the tap for Triptych, and we're not really sure actually how much progress is on the last generator. That's going to be really important here.
Yeah, I mean, tap over here, he applied for that police job and he put Comp Corner as his address, so as the last gen is going to pop here, and this is going to make it a little bit rough to try and save Spitz on hook, and depending on how these gate spawns are, I believe the gates are relatively far apart, as Felix already starting on this one. He is the survivor with hope, so if someone is going to get chased off of the gate, it should be Felix, but Felix is on the opposite gate from the one that Triptych is checking, so this gate going to be open for free, and Ace doesn't have a whole lot to work with here, but the chase... Well, no chase will go on to him, and because of his adrenaline coming in, he's not going to be able to use balanced landing on this Harvester. This is a really rough position for him to be in. He's trying to win this mind game, and the extra movement speed coming in clutch. Triptych gets it down onto Dunder, and this is going to be the second hook onto him.
Yeah, and I mean, this is not the worst target for Triptych, but it's also not the #1 optimal target, as survivors seem like they're just going to be taking their outs, and he's going to get 2 extra hook stages for finding Dunder in the endgame.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid recovery from Triptych here. He definitely getting no-ad value, and you know, we were seeing a little bit of Rancor earlier, we were seeing a little bit of No Way Out earlier, but you know, no-ad, the Eternal Classic, is definitely making a statement here.
Yeah, so overall, pretty expected result there for the Executioner, and we're going to be taking a quick break and going into the second part of the Executioner set, see which team wins out. Welcome back to the Rotten Fields for the second half of this exciting Pyramid Head set between Aeternum and 0Practice. We have Vlas on the Pyramid Head looking for his first survivor here. He's got a pretty comfortable win condition to beat of 1 kill, 6 stages, and 3 fresh. And he's rocking the exact same build that our last Pyramid Head was. And there's a loud noise notification over by the cow tree, and that pallet is just already dropped. He didn't even know that this ace was here, but this is going to be the first chase starting.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that was done. I've seen some really early pre-drops before, if a survivor with Lied was coming through maybe, but you know, that just seemed to be Ace establishing dominance or trying to get Vlas's attention, but Vlas not going to take the bait, going to look instead and find Quentin over at this Harvester. And with the win condition being what it is, you know, yeah, you know you have no-ad in your back pocket, so all you have to do is get a hook on someone in the end game, and if you have 4 stages before that, you're chilling, as Quentin drops that God pallet at Shack immediately, no respect, and runs off in the distance.
So yeah, that's the 2 strongest pallets on this map, both gone before the first down comes in. I really do wonder about that cow tree pallet, if they're going to be missing that later, but he is going to be taking this chase towards the top side of the map on this injured Quentin. He has a short wall jungle jump here. Puts the sword in the ground. Is he going to be going for a shockwave here on the Quentin? No, he's just going to zone him out and gets grabbed off of the pallet there. Nice first down from Vlas.
This is some next level pre-dropping. I know they're not playing around, but Quentin is going to get taken off into this middle of the cornfield where there's not a whole lot for him to work with, depending on what tile there is next to him. And the pain res, you know, might not have gotten as much value as we'd like, depending on what the gen progress is looking like elsewhere, as Felix is just, you know, finding his safety at this Harvester. Adam takes chase away, he's got a hill nearby. Pain res did hit this particular gen, so yeah, with that gen being the one that got pain res, there should not be too much gen progress around the map, as Vlas looks like he's going to be looking for a different survivor, not too concerned with camping Kiers up to second.
And I wouldn't be too concerned with hard camping, especially with Noah in my back pocket and knowing the win condition. He's going to find another hit onto the Felix here, who runs off into the bottom side of the map. And now he's going to be going back to the hook to see if he can catch anybody going for that save.
Well, if they haven't gotten the save now, you may as well. Like, they are going to power out this gen in the distance, but I think Vlas is going to know they have either accepted that this guy is going to second, and they're going to do a last-minute save, or if they're going to go for a last-minute pull on first hook, he can at least secure a 1-for-1 right now, and that would be a second pain res on this hook.
Yeah, and it looks like the survivors are not actually going to even attempt to save Cures up, and he's going to go to second. So Quentin on second hook, that gen that got pain resed earlier is about to pop now, and so that leaves 2 survivors unaccounted for. Adam is actually going to run away from that gen, but no kick is going to come in from Blast, so now he's going to actually head back to the hook to see if he can get a double hit on the Quentin as he comes off.
Yeah, and the risk here now is we've already given second stage on Kirzep. It's going to be a very fast tunnel. It looks like the survivors have just accepted we're not even going to try to save Kirzep. We're just going to power out gens and try and... They have to be anticipating there's a Noed coming in here. So, actually, no. Ace with the FTP is going to do a last-minute save into FTP, but if Vlas can intercept the Ace and take 1 health state off of him, he won't be able to FTP Kirzep off the hook.
Yeah, I mean, they need to be satisfied with this save even coming in at all at this point. I'm not sure where Ace is, but it looks like they're not even going to get the save. Kirzep is just going to die on hook.
Yeah, I mean, so do keep in mind, last game, it was 6 stages, but it was 3 fresh. So a hit into a no-head camp is not enough to win. That would only be 2 fresh. So he does need to get, either 7 hooks or all 4 survivors hooked once with only 6. But finding Felix here on the corner, this is a long wall tile, so Felix does have a pretty strong one to work with. Firecracker coming in, and now we're going to see if the Executors will be able to hit this shockwave as another gen pops in the distance. And the down goes onto Felix. So now, with the hook onto Felix, the win con would basically be find either of the other survivors, either the Ace or the Atom, and then smack one of them with Noed and camp them to death. That would be a win con for Vlas here.
Yep, and this last generator that they need to complete is going to get hit by Pain Resonance, which is going to give Vlas even more time to find a potential fresh hook. He's really getting close to this win con here, and is in a very commanding position.
And this does at least look to be a pretty decent gen spread. We'll have to see how the gates are split up as well, because, picking the wrong gate to pressure, they could still pull this off, as the unhook does come in onto good KN, but now they basically cannot afford to make any more mistakes, as, this Executioner is ready to punish them.
Yeah, so it looks like Felix and Adam are going to start duoing on this gen that's out in the middle of the corn, as they both get interrupted on it and start to run away. And chasing the injured Felix here is a really good play for Vlas. If he's able to get this down, that's going to be his 5th hook stage, which is going to be pretty important. And he hits the max range shockwave onto Felix. Really nice shot there. He's going to put down some Torment for a potential DS, but Felix is not the survivor with DS.
DS is on Ace. So Felix... So with Agi going to be taking Felix closer into the map to try and get the pressure onto those topside gens much faster.
Yep, unfortunate. You see there Vlas trying to give some nodders, but Pyramid Head unable to nod. So really sad there.
He has no head, yet he must scream.
Yep, fast pull comes in onto Felix, and these survivors are just going to continue running towards these faraway tiles to see if they can get that last gen done. But honestly, I'm not really sure about chasing Felix again here. Like, if he can get this kill, but yeah. I was thinking that maybe, if he gets this kill quickly like this, then it really doesn't matter. They're still at 1 gen, so finishing the chases that quickly, there's really like nothing better. So yeah. Last gen is gonna pop, and he just is going to be looking to find either this Ace or this Atom with no ed at this point, which he's almost certainly going to be able to do.
Yeah, we have to see some next level rat gameplay here. Either they have to try and find that Noed totem, which they have to anticipate coming in, or, well, so here's the question. They don't necessarily know. He could still have no way out. And if they touch a gen, or touch the gate, they basically need to be 1 person on each gate in case the no way out triggers, and also with potentially Noed coming in, you know, neither of them can be afford to be caught out here. So they're probably just stealthing until they're both in position to start the gates at the same time. But there's no confirmation on what his in-game perk is yet.
Yeah, this is an extremely tense situation for the survivors. The only way they win this is if both of these survivors escape with no hook state.
But they do technically have a win right now if they're able to do that, because it would still be 6 stages, but only 2 fresh.
Oh, and he sees the Atom. He sees the Atom going around the corner, and that's going to be the Noed and the win for Vlas on the Pyramid Head.
Yep, Noed coming in clutch as always. This is, you know, I like the no way outs. I especially like the Rancors, but when the chips are down, Noed does seem to be the way to go on basically any killer that can pull it off.
Yep, and that hook there is going to seal it. Not really sure what Ace is going to be planning to do here. He seems to be going towards the hook. Adam is hooked right next to a door, so is he going to be going for this save or trying to open the door? We're not quite sure.
In theory, so I don't know, because he could also, Adam should be telling him that the Pyramid Head is just chilling right there. So Ace should be able to just get the other gate open for free, but maybe he's just going to try and open the gate behind Adam after Eggsy leaves to close hatch? I don't know. Maybe he thinks it's too risky to, you know, get caught out on the other gate. But, I mean, this endgame is decided anyway, so this is just a formality.
Yeah, we'll see if the Ace can get the miraculous save onto the Atom. He is going to be walking away now. But it would be entertaining if he did try to go in there and get that save with Noed.
I mean, that would certainly be, you know, a way of establishing dominance. I would be here for that.
Yep, and so Adam is going to go to second. Vlas continues to just move around this hook. Ooh, and he's hitting the Adam on hook with the punishment. That's not very nice, is it?
No, but I mean, unfortunately, we've seen a decent amount of camping here. But not enough tunneling for a proper Eggsy game, you know. That's what I mean, to see.
For sure, the killer was literally made to tunnel, and now we see why Ace was over here by the hook. He wants to get the jump onto that first door that the Pyramid Head was close to, so that he wouldn't check it first, and he is going to escape with all 3 stages. So moral victory for Ace.
That is technically the safest play, and Quentin with a little bit less than 4,000 blood points, that's a feels bad, man. You know, but going into the next set, we will have another Dredge set, and that should be, was it Aeternum taking this set? Well, Pryon, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. I don't see any more cornfields, only some classrooms in what appears to be a rundown elementary school. So we do have a Dredge looking for some survivors. Is going to see 3 of them very close nearby if he's able to get downstairs. But we are, I think, hearing a locker getting locked below him as he kicks a bunch of doors. Property damage, that is not cool. He is going to find this gem that survivors were doubling as they run off in the distance. So with the kick coming in, we are seeing Eruption this game. That is a new one. We have seen a bunch of Sloppy and Malfingers. We haven't seen Painrez. We've seen Jolt. But the Eruption definitely kind of makes sense for what we've been seeing out of the Dredge gameplay. Very similar to some of those Wraith games we were seeing in the previous weeks. Once you get that tunnel in. And now the chase going on to Meg here, as the Dredge will take his Remnant, and she will make this pallet as well. And these 2 pallets, as long as they're unbroken, are pretty decent for looping him around. But with that pallet being broken, Chase is going to go onto this one, and I believe she should have a Godfather on the corner, which she's going to drop.
Yep, really nice first chase coming in here from this Meg, and this Dredge, as he is trying to get this first hit onto Meg, notably, he does not have Corrupt. I think that's the most interesting part of this build, as he sets the Remnant down near the door, starting to try to get a mind game onto this Meg, and he is actually just going to hold the Remnant the entire time, calls out the Megs holding W, and that is going to be the first hit now.
It appears there is an imposter among us, because I do not believe that Meg players are allowed to be this intelligent in their pathing, as Meg taking the tag, and very interesting choice to be playing a female survivor with the bug that we have right now. She might very well get hit on this pallet because of it, but she is playing it so well. The survivors pop the gen in the distance. Most likely that was doubled, trying to make sure they get those gens popping before the first down comes in, and avoiding, you know, the pain res coming in, avoiding a pop, avoiding eruption potentially as well. And Meg should be accepting her death here.
She is going to eventually go down now because she only has the music room pallet left, but the way that she played that... Oh no, a hit is going to come in from the Quentin. Amazing play there from the survivors. Great coordination, and this Meg lives to see another day. Just an amazing sequence of perfect pallet plays from her, faking and dodging out the remnant, and now she makes it to yet another filler. Is she going to be able to dodge the dredge once again? She holds W to the door. Will she make the Infirmary God pallet? That would be huge.
She does. This is so clean. Meg, you know, pathing perfectly, using her resources exactly the way she needs to, and with the Quentin coming in at just the right moment for the hit to extend that chase, we've already got 2 gens popping in the distance, and the down is not looking to come onto Meg anytime soon, because she still has, oh, the 3rd gen pops! She still has this God window, and a bunch of pallets on this side of the map. She was able to, with that hit from Quentin, make it to the side of the map where she still had resources, and even if the down comes in on her now, like... The survivors have so much, and Ace can come the hit too. Oh, the little bit of a fumble on the positioning there for that hit take, as now Ace is going to give a tag too, and the Dredge can still snowball this if the Nightfall is used as well as Meg was pathing, but yeah, now Ace being chased in an area where Meg used everything, so he should be going down here soon as well, so we'll see if they can pick up Meg before the hook comes in.
Yeah, and that's going to be 2 survivors on the ground during Nightfall, but man, that took a really long time. Amazing chase here from the Meg, and I think the Dredge knows that he kind of got taken for a walk there and is going to have to slug to get pressure back.
A little bit of an unfortunate pathing from the Meg, kind of running into the Dredge again, but so far the survivor's doing a fantastic job of playing around this. That as the unhook's going to come in, and now Obii knows, okay, well, I can interrupt 2 people here. I can get a tag on a healthy person possibly, or tunnel out their eyes. It looks like he's going to go for the tunnel into their eyes.
Yeah, and notably, no Hattie's calendar here for our Dredge, so those locked lockers are going to be a huge pain to deal with.
There should not be, but there shouldn't be that many locked lockers, as the survivors were kind of committing to just pounding out those gens, probably doubling a couple of them so that the regression perks were not able to do their job. As we are seeing from this Dredge build, we've got that goal, we've got that eruption. He's definitely committing to what will be, you know, a longer mid and end game here. If he can just keep getting downs without necessarily hooking anyone. As I think he's going for Quentin. Oh, Quentin is still here. He's so quiet.
Yeah, Kears Up is going to go down at this filler pallet. Obii might have thought he was going to try to double back towards the window, but that was not the case. He gets the down on him at that kind of weak pallet. This is going to be another hook, and it is not a pain resonance. So Obii is going to be trying to find a gen to probably apply Eruption to here, or maybe find this reset with Meg and Ace.
Yeah, finding the reset on Meg would probably be ideal, because yes, the you know, another pain res would be cool, but you really need to get that first survivor out of the game before the power of the Dredge to keep survivors injured. And in Nightfall, you know, it's just not as good when you still have a full 4-man team in the game. So we find Ace here, and down onto Ace would be good too, as Ace gets the vault. He is going to do a good job at delaying that first hit onto him, but he... Okay, I spoke too soon. Sorry for the caster curse. Ace, as now we see 2 injured survivors running off the distance. Well, Meg is healthy, but, you know, Quentin being the one just pulled from the hook, I believe, so he is still injured, and this would be second hook onto him.
Yeah, so Quentin now running into this bottom library area, and this is a pallet that we've seen go both ways in the last games, and he takes an aggressive swing into the pallet and eats a stun. Nice play there from Quentin, as, oh, he gets teleported right in front of, and now he only has this extremely weak library pallet, and Quentin again calls out the aggressive swing and gets another stun on these super unsafe pallets, and he's eventually just going to run directly in front of the Dredge and go down. But that's actually a jolt and eruption onto the chemistry room gen, so that's about like 18% regression at once. That's pretty huge.
And a pain res. So yeah, Felix is going to get chased off that gen too, and because of the Nightfall being 20 seconds longer, he's at a full minute of it, I believe, if not more, and that means he's able to go ahead and get this hook and still have plenty of time to exert pressure using the mobility of the Dredge. And, you know, Meg's first chase was so good, but she used so many resources to do it, as This is really unfortunate. We are starting to see here what value Jolt can bring to the table if you pull it off. As Meg should get tagged here, and this is where things can snowball out of control. We did get 3 gens popped so early in the game, but there has not been a chance to pop any more as the Jolt Eruption Pain is coming in. Survivors are staying injured, and even though the hook stages don't look that high, there's so much pressure on the Survivors right now.
Yeah, despite that really slow start with the chase on Meg, it seems like Obii is starting to bring it back. He's got everybody injured, he's got Derice on the ground, and he's going to get another hook here, possibly a Pain Resonance. As the Survivors are going to really struggle to get gen progress now. They have to worry about resetting through Sloppy. They can't 99 their heals to hide where they are from the Dredge. No Pain Resonance there, but he's going to start looking for that reset or maybe a generator to put Eruption on.
And look at this gen cluster, right? We see there's a gen in the chemistry room, there's a gen in the classroom that's not far from it, and there's 2 more down that same hallway as the that classroom. They're all kind of clustered tightly together, which makes it so easy for Obii to pressure these with his Eruption, with his Jolt, and the Survivors are going to run into a scenario where if they're not able to get away from those classrooms, they basically have to be fully healthy, because getting caught out in one of these classrooms means he is hitting every gen on the map with Jolt almost. We can see, yeah, there's 2 gens right above this that are in that 4 gen. There's this one in this classroom with the mechs being chased, 2 upstairs above us, and the one in chemistry room. This is such a good cluster for Obii to defend.
Yeah, and he's going to commit here to the Meg for yet another hook on her. She only has this 1 filler pallet left. It's already dropped, but she might actually make it back to the window if he doesn't play this right. He is actually going to leave. He doesn't want to deal with that God window at all. And he finds 2 injured Survivors duoing the chemistry room gen.
That means he gets to pick whichever one he wants to chase. He does go for the Felix. Felix makes the vault! See, a Meg would not have made that vault.
Yep,
but
great.
He chases to the Meg. That's so unlucky, because now, whether he doesn't need to pick Felix, he can just go for the Quentin here.
Oh, and he gets the grab!
Oh no, this is so bad.
He was trying to lock the locker, and the Eruption proc showed Obii exactly what was going on there. Honestly, this is the first locker grab I've seen in any pro Dredge set.
And with the, yeah.
Really awesome stuff there, and Obii is going to continue to exert pressure. 2 injured Survivors he's found near that broken God pallet, and he's just gonna slug and keep going. He finds the Meg even closer. I don't think she has any pallets.
He got dropped one here, but that might actually be the result of the vault coming in. But now we know who Quentin is, so that's gonna chase onto him, and he has to see if he can last long enough to also pick up his teammates. But we were seeing just a couple seconds ago what problems arise when you're not able to leave that area. The chases coming in near all those gens meant all the progress got disrupted, the Survivors went down in that area, and unfortunately that is what is going to seal the deal for these Survivors, almost certainly, as the residual manifest value coming in again, but Quentin should not be able to make it anywhere. He does have a God window.
Yeah, but with Sloppy in play, I think even if he does get a little bit of distance, he's probably not going to have time to pick anybody up. And, I mean, this build for Obii just worked perfectly.
Yeah, I really like the choice of dropping Corrupt Intervention on these Dredge sets. I don't feel like you're actually going to get that much value out of it. And there's so many perks that you can bring here that really show their worth. I know we've even seen Nurse's Calling in the past to complement the Sloppy and Mouththinker Skull, and I think as we see each Dredge player having their own preference for what they want to bring into the game, I think dropping Corrupt is the correct choice.
Yeah, so this is going to be a 4K2 result for Obii, and considering how that first chase went with the Meg, this is a shockingly good result for him. He's got to be feeling good about himself right now.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we see with these tier 5 sets consistently, with these Dredge sets, with these race sets, with these Ghostface sets even, there is so little room to make a mistake on the Survivor side, because the slightest slip up can snowball the game out of control. We had all 3 of those gens that had popped basically by the time that first chase ended. And here we are with all 4 Survivors about to die with not one more gen that's popped since then, all because of the snowball that the Dredge was able to secure.
Yeah, I think this is just a great example of why we love to watch Dredge sets. They're explosive and fast-paced, and variable in their results. Sometimes you get survivors that can 4 out a Dredge. Other times it's just the Dredge just takes over the game in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, there's certainly never a moment where the match just seems absolutely decided. You know, there's always the possibility of a comeback here, and as we wait for the survivors to die on hook, you know, the Dredge coming to the next game has a very tall task ahead of him. A 4K3 is very rough win condition to try to secure.
Yeah, so I would be, if I was the other Dredge here, I would be going all out with a no corrupt build, similar to what we just saw Obii running today. But that's a cool charm there. It's just a picture of the Dredge. Huh, I've never seen that one.
Obii letting us know he is in fact a Dredge enjoyer, you know, not being required to play this set because of the rules. He actually enjoys playing this killer. We'd love to see it. Nice touch from Obii here. So as this set comes to a conclusion, or sorry, no, as the first game comes to a conclusion, we will see in the next game what 0Practice's killer can do on the Dredge.
All right, everybody, no running in the halls as we are back on Midwich Elementary School with Trick attempting to send these survivors to the principal's office with a 4K3 win condition. It's going to be tough, Cole.
Yeah, so is Trick our hall monitor or something? Because I don't think he's going to like Felix dropping that pallet in his face for that quickly. As we will see Quick and Quiet coming in, and looks like probably a chase drop as Trick trying to find a different survivor. We see a lot of Dredges getting value out of being able to be basically anywhere on the map as soon as their first teleport comes up, and it looks like he does go back. No, this is on to David. I don't recognize this skin. I think it's David. Yes, it is. So we are going to have a chase onto Rocket here, whichever survivor he's playing, at this filler paladin. This is not a pick safe one. It's a shorter loop. Rocket's just going to leave, but he will take a tag before he can make it to that pallet, so he's going to take his distance and see if he can get to a safer place than just that filler loop, as I think he's not going to be able to make a god pallet, but he does have this one in this, you know, chemistry room, supply room, as just going to keep looping this.
Interesting. He holds W into the chem room and is actually going to momentarily lose the Dredge. Now starting a Remnant Mine game at this shorter loop. He replaces the Remnant and is going to get... Oh, that was really close, honestly. That could have come down to net there. But the difference here is that the Dredge intentionally drops chase if the first chase starts near the god palette and one of those god windows that there are 2 of on this map. He does not want to deal with those for his first chase, and that's why he finds Rocket in a much more opportune position.
I do want to point out that Rocket did make a pretty good heads-up play there. He just ditched that loop in the smaller room and try to make it to a better pallet. And I don't think Trick was quite expecting him to just hold W away from that pallet, and that gave Rocket some distance. And he may have been able to get somewhere else in that time he had. I don't know, but Trick going to take a tag onto the tap Pictus gen. He is going for the eruption here, still preferring Corrupt over Sloppy. And it looks like this green add-on he has, that's the one where you get your teleports more often when it's not nightfall?
Yeah, so that green add-on is actually Automarian Writings, which reduces your teleport cooldown by, I think, 2.5 seconds when you are not in Nightfall. So, as a Dredge player, I know exactly what that add-on does. And actually, he does have Sloppy. What's missing from this build is Jolt.
Interesting. We do have... I mean, fortunately for Trick, he has gotten 2 hooks before the first gen pops. That is nice pressure. It is only one of his pain reses, though, as he does find a chase onto Ace here, but it looks like we do see 2 generators right above the hook, and a third one that's actually kind of close. So in this upstairs area around the hook, he has some good pressure. He has Nightfall. He has Killer Instinct onto Rocket to find him again, and if he can get a second hook onto Rocket here, this could be so good for his pressure. You know, very much needing to get that first tunnel out of the game, as Rocket might not have a whole lot to work with. He does have a god window, at least.
Yeah, this window is going to delay this chase significantly, as Rocket doesn't even need to use that filler yet because this door is not broken, which means he has enough distance to get all the way back to the window.
I mean, we could see Trick try to play this with Bloodlust. So I think if we take one more loop around this vault, Rocket will not be able to make it before Bloodlust kills him. He's going to have to play that pallet.
So with Bloodlust 2, he's now forced to stay at the pallet instead of the window. And he is going to go down at that filler pallet. Nice play there from Tree Trick, and that's going to be the second hook onto Rocket.
Yeah, so with a potential kill coming onto Rocket relatively soon, right next to a locker, so as soon as this unhook comes off, Triptych can just be right back at the hook. There is another gen popping in the distance, and the survivors, I believe, getting kind of close to their win condition as Ace speeds off in the distance. One of the nice things about playing second here is you at least know what your win condition is, so you can have moments where you say, you know what, I'm gonna let this guy hang and just do gens, and if he dies, it's fine. But with Triptych patrolling these gens, not looking to go for that immediate tunnel onto Rocket as the FTP came off immediately after the unhook.
Yeah, and actually, not a single gen can be done if the Dredge here wants to meet his win condition here. One more gen is actually going to be a tie for the survivors.
Yeah, so they are looking pretty. They can play this game. Oh, and that is another gen popping in the distance. So that the survivors can afford to play this very, you know, however they want. The ball is in their court to drop it, and Triptych has to play this flawlessly and still kind of hope the survivors can make some mistakes here if he wants to get the tie, replay the set, and possibly win it in the next go-around.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be a lot of mistakes necessary for the survivors to lose this. With everybody alive, with only one more gen remaining for them to get their win condition, the only survivor that's dead on hook is healthy and successfully stealthing right now. He's going to find two survivors here in this room, and actually one of them is Rocket, who's dead on hook, but he's actually going to go for the injured Ace instead. We're back to this 50-50 pallet at the bottom of the library. Who is going to win out on this mind game? He teleports back to the Remnant. Ace loses the mind game, goes down. Somebody's hovering for a save, though, as he sees on that ramp.
The crouch walk.
That's actually Rocket, who's dead on hook. That's a very bold move by Rocket. That makes me think that they must have some good gen progress elsewhere on the map if the dead on hook guy is hovering for a save.
Rocket's got a beamer, that's why he's going for that, I think. And, I mean, hey, yes, it looks like a tall order, but we did see it last game. We had 3 gens pop, basically, from that first chase, and not a single gen pop before all the survivors died. So, Triptych knows it can be done, but the survivors also know just how they have to play this out to make sure that they secure a win instead of a tie, as there are 2 separate gens being progressed, and Triptych will basically have to pressure both of them at the same time.
Yeah, and I mean, if he goes for Rocket here to try to get that kill, then he can't get a pain res. So it's gotta kind of feel like sand is like falling through his hands here. Like he doesn't have much time left. That hit onto the detective tap is going to help if he can get this down quickly. Tap wisely ignores the music room, but with no balanced landing here, he is just going to go down in the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna boil down to a slugging game either way, right? Triptych needs to get some 2 or 3 survivors slugged for that pressure. He's gonna probably need to be in Nightfall too in order to get that map pressure with mobility from the teleports, and so his arguably his window of opportunity is coming with Nightfall. And if he can secure the win with that, secure the tie at that Nightfall, I don't think he's gonna get an opportunity to pull it back.
Yeah, this Nightfall is absolutely critical. He has 3 survivors injured. They might be resetting right now, or they might just be slamming gens, and oh, this gen is so close to being done, and that would be the win for the survivors. And with no pop, like, he's not going to be able to delay this gen very much unless he can get a really quick down. He needs a fresh hook, too, even, to get pain resonance on that gen. This mind game with Rocket, he is going to lose out. Rocket vaults the pallet very nicely there. He is actually just going to give up and break that pallet as Rocket paths towards the bathroom. He is probably going to take a hit here because there's no balanced landing or no resources around here. Even ignores that pallet.
He doesn't need to use it. See, if he drops that pallet, he could just be zoned back into the corner of the bathroom there, and it's a death sentence. But Rocket, as we know, one of the very best 1v1 players in the world, and we're seeing some of those chase mechanics coming in, is now Triptych is having to find these drivers. We have so many gens that are so close to progress. He has to get these slugs, he has to get these eruption procs and the jolt procs to keep these gens stalled, and fortunately for him, these gens are still relatively close by, although there is one off in the distance. One of the nice things about this map for the Dredge is just how small it is. But with a 3rd injury coming in, he's getting these injuries, but he's going to have to convert them into downs, and it looks like he's possibly trying to get the injuries before going for slugs, but these gens are so close.
Yeah, every second counts here. And although there is somebody injured here, the ace is going to take a hit, and the last gen pops. That is going to mark the win for the survivors. And the end of this set as well. Really nice play from the survivors as we see the ace just Dunder giving up, going into the locker. And that's going to be the win for the survivors.
Yeah, and Tricky's not content for that. He wants to get more slugs. He wants to get more downs, more hooks, and you know, and even if their match is going to be a loss, he still wants to get a good result. But I don't know if Rocket's the person I want to be chasing here for this.
Yeah, M1 chase against Rocket. I would not want to be doing that. He is going to go down at this filler pallet. Nice remnant mind game there. He's actually going to slug the guy that's dead on hook. He really wants to prevent that last gen from popping.
I mean, he has the ability to do it, but, you know, tap getting reset, so we know what that is. And Trick is going to opt to try and get the tag on tap, but that means Felix is going to be able to try and pick up these slugs in the distance, so probably going to see a tag on tap if it's possible, and then a quick leave to go to the slugs.
Holding the remnant at this filler pallet, something we often see in this Dredge mid-witch set, and Detective Tap is going to take yet another hit.
And we're seeing, it's a really underrated aspect of this killer's kit is the killer instinct that you get in Nightfall when you teleport places, or even using the remnant here as we had. So Trick knowing exactly, hey, I've got 2 slugs down here, or 2 survivors in general. I know exactly that's where I need to go to pressure. And he is going to opt for the pick now, but he does have 3 injured survivors, and it's going to be difficult for them to try and find the time to reset before more slugs come in.
Yeah, and that's going to be another pain resonance hitting the most progressed generator as Pretrick goes off to try to find this reset. He knows they're resetting. He just saw Rocket get healed, and here he has found the injured ace in this locker room that's honestly not a very strong pallet. And oh, he swings through it and gets stunned. That was the short swing there, not the long lunge that he needed. And Dunder is able to get the stun, but he is going to go down with the medium vault on that high vault.
The short swing sometimes actually pays off if the survivor tries to, you know, drop the pallet in your face. Sometimes the short swing will go off sooner, so you'll get a hit if they move to drop the pallet on you that you wouldn't get if you went for a long lunge. It just, unfortunately, not paying off there as immediately as you'd like, but we did get the down onto ace shortly after anyway, as now Trick looking to find these remaining survivors, but they were all able to reset in that time that the chase was going on to ace, as this is a really good recovery from these survivors.
Yeah, Detective Tap is going to take another hit. I mean, he's another one of the guys that's dead on hook, and that's the 3rd time that Tree Trick has just hit him and then left. So that's 3 injured survivors now. He gets the hit onto Karma on the Felix, kicks the gen, leaves. He's going to try to find more people in Nightfall, and he finds one of the only healthy survivors, Dunder.
And we still have this pallet up, yeah. Really, really unfortunate. Like, the survivors are playing actually very cleanly. We're seeing one of the things that is differentiating successful matches against Dredge and unsuccessful ones is, are you able to get those resets off? Are you able to stop the snowball, stop the slugfest? And these survivors are definitely showing that off, just like the team which won the last Dredge, I believe. We were seeing that too, and definitely something for other survivor teams to look towards to practice when playing this set out.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a quick thing, not super important. I'm shocked that Infirmary God pellet just dropped at 1 gen.
Yeah, it looked like it was dropped previously, and like I don't remember if it was dropped in a previous chase and then just ignored, or if it was like pre-dropped for another chase. But it was definitely not Survivor that played it that dropped it there.
Yeah, so Spitz is finally going to go down and get hooked for his final hook, and a kill is going to come in here. But are the survivors going to get anything for it? There is only 1 generator remaining. They've been waging a battle of attrition against this Dredge with Eruption and Sloppy. And our Felix is going to be just pre-running away. Looks like they were not able to get enough progress on the gens, and are going to have to settle for another long reset.
That is kind of the price that you pay for keeping your survivors healthy. Is, again, it takes them a full 24 seconds to get a reset off on one person. So when you see this chain of injuries coming in, let's say all 3 survivors are injured, right? It'll take them 72 seconds to get everyone healed again, and that's as much time as it would take almost to get a full generator done. So it will drag the game out, but it is the way that you have to play against this killer safely. So we will be here probably for a hot minute longer.
Yeah, as we see Tree Trick trying to find more survivors. He's just hopping into a locker to try to start Nightfall, I think. Which is honestly a good play here. He knows that survivors are resetting. He wants that killer instinct on his teleports. And now the hunt is on as he finds Dunder here near the generator.
Yeah, I mean, with the eruption in play, being in the situation where you have a 1v3, you have a good regression perk like this. This is actually a pretty good position to be in as a killer. You are definitely in a place where you can secure a 4K, here. It's just unfortunately not enough for the win condition that he needed to make, but I think Trick should be in a good position to get a 4K here.
Yeah, interesting there that he just leaves Dunder and checks on the generator. Survivors are really doing a good job to pre-run from the generators as he goes to the teleport, even though it's even though it's that Nightfall teleport that's extremely fast.
Ooh, hit onto Rocket. Now we have two survivors both injured and on death hook, so Trick potentially looking to see if he can catch Dunder out, but he did see scratch marks, but should be Dunder scratch marks here, yeah. There's blood trails at least, so there will be, in fact, a teleport instead onto the other gen. Trick not wanting to take a chase into, away from these gens, as now he's going to catch out Rocket, but will Rocket be able to make anything from here? He has a dropped music room palette, but this is a death sentence, unfortunately.
Yeah, this palette is terrible. This is surely going to be the eruption proc onto the gens. Rocket is going to go down and get put on hook for his final hook. So, very interesting here. I'm assuming that Karma and Dunder are going to be doubling that last gen in the library.
It's very possible, but they shouldn't be able to pop it, I don't think. I mean, it's close, but it's not that close. And so the question here is Trick going to find Dunder first? Because a down onto Dunder essentially means Karma is just not going to be able to do anything. But only getting an injury onto Karma, you still have to worry, is Dunder doing something off in the background? These gens are not that close to each other, so you have to be using the teleport to get from one to the other, and it might not be enough mobility.
Yep, Nightfall is going to start again here, and he's going to find Dunder here at this back library palette. It's an okay palette, but it's really one of the worst ones on this map. There are worse ones, but this one is not very safe. As Dunder, with Nightfall, is just going to run directly into Tree Trick and go down in the back of the library.
I mean, unfortunately, of all the books that are back there, one of them was not a guide on how to play that palette. There is no such thing in this world.
A book on how to play that palette would be maybe 1 page tops.
What's the first line? You don't?
You just guess. That's it.
Yeah, especially in Nightfall, where unfortunately you can hear the Dredge, but you don't get to see the red light, and it's the bookcase being so tall, it's hard to see around it. So, no shame on the ace for that down. But now we're just gonna be looking for Karma here, as Karma's stealthing in the courtyard. Unfortunately, because it's Dredge, you can't have any locker gameplay here.
The courtyard is actually a pretty decent place to try to hide out the Nightfall and avoid the killer instinct. There aren't a lot of lockers ever in the courtyard, and there's not a gen there, so the Dredge usually wouldn't think to try to check there for the killer instinct.
Yeah, this is a part of the game where it's going to be difficult for Trick to find Karma if he's committing to stealth, because yes, you have a good position, but in order for Nightfall to come back, you need to be getting hooks on people, you need to be getting hits on people, and there's not enough survivors left in the game to do that. So about the only way he has to accelerate Nightfall would be to just go back into a locker, basically. And other than that, he just has to find... he does find him. Well, sorry, Felix, for the caster curse, says Trick going to take Taze onto Karma, and we'll see if Karma is able to run him out in the time it takes Dunder to bleed out on the ground. Most likely not, but that bleed out timer on to Dunder is actually reasonably progressed, so Karma with the wave mind game, that's a new tech. As this should be a hit on this pallet. He greeds it and does avoid the hit for now, but this pallet is not super safe. With the hand wave tech again, this time not going to work a third time, as Karma runs away from that pallet, and he has 2 more pallets he can see with the any means necessary, but unfortunately this is the music room pallet. This is not where you want to be. The firecracker goes down. It was not actually. It looks like a spectator bug, as this is not the pallet you want to play with your life on the line, and there's going to be a down. Karma playing this actually so well for what he has to work with, but this is going to be the grab onto Karma, and as Karma gets hooked, we're probably going to see Dunder bleeding out in the distance.
Yeah, very nice 1v1 technology there from Karma in the final chase of the game. I was really hoping that he would try to any means the pallet during the Remnant Mine game. That would have been hilarious. But this game has been decided for quite a while now. Tree Trick is finally going to finish the game with a 4K1 win condition, as Dunder is going to bleed out, and that is going to be Aeternum taking the 2-0 in the set.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, still, we did get to see some really good gameplay from both teams here on this map. You know, I think the Meg chase that we had in the previous game was just so sick.